Welcome back to my Quizizz experiments. Today, we're going to talk about escape rooms. I'm Madame Sensei. I teach Spanish, French, Japanese, English language arts, and health to high schoolers out here in the beautiful Pacific Northwest. If you want to help me make these escape rooms or talk to me about anything, you can find me, of course, at the Quizizz Game Changers and AI Certified Teachers, or the Minecraft Teachers Lounge, the Minecraft Education Ambassadors, or RockSem, or the Duolingo Educators Network, or the Teacher Excellence Lounge, or the World Language Teacher Lounge. Hang out all those places. So anyone who knows me knows I love my escape rooms. And they are a total pain to set up. Every single time I do one, it's so much work. And I say, golly, that was a lot of work. But it was fun, so it was worth it. And I keep trying to convince myself that it was worth it to do all the setup. But you've got to cut out the cards. You've got to decide where you're going to hide the clues. You've got to wrangle all the students wandering around the school. You got to get all your supporting photos and everything that you need. And it is a lot of logistical work. And then, so a lot of times I just have many, many different things kicking around in my head, and then I put them together in weird ways. Way back in the day, before students had their own computers and before students brought cell phones to school all the darn time and everything, before I used Blukit or Quizizz, I would, of course, have a lot of paper quizzes and stuff, and I didn't normally give multiple choice. But occasionally I would be like, okay, yeah, I got to do a multiple choice here just to check for understanding, just a really quick thing. And so a lot of times what I would do is this was instead of connect the line, like you're supposed to draw a line between these, and connect them up. That's not, shimi is not white. But anyway, you're supposed to draw lines between them to connect them up. And I decided, I'll just have the students write a hiragana because they need to practice their hiragana anyway. And then it's going to be so easy for me to grade it because I've got it so that this hiragana is going to spell out some old adage that the students don't know, and I'll just be able to read it down. And if I can read it, then they got it right, and if I can't read it, then they got it wrong. So easy to grade that way. Then, when I discovered Minecraft for Education, I started making my escape rooms on Minecraft, and I do love doing that. And it's really involved though. I go to a lot of work on those escape rooms, but I don't have the logistical problem anymore of how do I set up my classroom? How do I move the tables? Where do I tape the secret keys? I got to go down to the workroom and cut up all the cards that I need. Where am I going to store it for next year? So I don't have that logistical problem anymore. But it is a lot of work, I have to make all the mazes, I have to make all the puzzles, I have to do whatever. Here's my Chateau de Moulinsart escape room. So here's Chateau de Moulinsart as it exists in real life. And here's as it exists in Tauntaun. Okay, it looks kind of similar, right? And then here's my version in Minecraft. I think I did a pretty good job at that. So, I'm now playing around with Quizizz. And what excited me the most, I've been flirting with Quizizz for a long time. Back and forth. Let's see if I can use it here. Let's see if I can use it here. But I think the thing that was finally okay, I'm going to jump in with both feet is Quizizz put out that they've got these escape rooms. All right. I'm so excited about this. So basically, I'm going to talk to you about the memes that they have. Students answer a question correctly and they get a funny picture, a cat meme or something. And you can change them around. You can, I've made them mine in French and in Spanish and in Japanese. But somebody at Quizizz had the brilliant idea of what if we made those memes be letters, and then we made a quote unquote escape room with the memes, and the students had to decode the clues. Okay, so here's their winter one-word escape room, and you can get this from Quizizz, okay? Or if you can't find it, ask me on the Quizizz Game Changers and AI Facebook group, and I will show you where this is, okay? So they have a Thanksgiving one, they have a Halloween one. These are all in English, of course. And they're words like spider and turkey and stuff. And then you give your students one of these puzzle pages where you've got the numbers and then the students have to figure out what each word is. Okay. Now remember, I had been doing like entire adages or sayings or stuff like that. And so my first thought is I don't want to do individual words. I just want to do one long phrase that the students are then going to remember better. They're going to remember ishi no ue ni mo sannen. Okay? Important things. So first thing is I went into Canva and I took all the, I forget which one I used. Must have been the Halloween one. And I just took out all the English and I put in all French or all Spanish or all Japanese, depending. All right. So that, took a little bit of time. But now I've got it forever. Then I thought, I don't want to reinvent the wheel. My first thought was, I'll cut it down every single time I want to do an escape room. I'll just put up the letters that the students need. But, that's a lot of work. And like I said, escape rooms are logistically a lot of work. And I want to make this easier on myself. Who cares if the students get letters that aren't in the clue of the day? And do I want to reinvent the wheel every single time? I'm just going to go with one alphabet set and I'm going to keep it. And if the students figure out, A is always number 32, fine, they figure that out. They're still going to be engaged in the game. So we're going to try it this way. I haven't done enough escape rooms yet to see if this is panning out or not. But like I said, this is my Quizizz experiment channel. It's not my Quizizz done deal channel, right? Okay, so what I've done is I've got my Spanish letters, my French letters, and my Japanese letters, which are hiragana. So the first thought I had to decide was, there's 26 letters of the English alphabet. And I thought, you know what? I have been such a bear about, you guys, this accent is important. Okay? Is it has or is it to? You got to know the difference, okay? Tirer is important in French, okay? Se dit, it's not comme con, it's comme son, right? And I've been such a bear about it to my students. I'm like, look, there's a huge difference between, where's my accent aigu? There's a huge difference between répéter and répéter, okay? You don't want to ask me to do one of those things, all right? So I've been such a bear about it, I thought I'm going to put these in as clues. The students better know the difference between them. All right, so that makes me over 26 letters now. So first thing I did was I took out K and W. I'm not going to have any clues with K and W because those are borrowed letters, and I'm not going to have anything that says KGB in it, and I'm not going to have anything that says wagon in it, so we don't need those letters. So I took those out, but adding in the other ones, I'm now at 36 letters for French, okay? So I'm happy with that. I think that's a good decision, okay? For Espanol, I decided I've got to have eche, I've got to have eñe. Oh my gosh, there's a huge difference between tengo 15 años and tengo 15 años, right? Okay, so I made sure that I put them all in, and because during class, I'm like, there's a difference between arre and are, so I want the students to know that difference too. So, and then I made the L's capitalized so they didn't look like lowercase i's or capital I's. So anyway, I did that for Spanish. For Japanese, I thought about this a long time. Okay, so Japanese teachers, this is what I did. I've got the 46 hiragana. And then I decided that I was going to put in a card that says, okay, whatever was the previous one, put a dakuten on it. Put your 10 on it, okay? Whatever was the previous meme you got, put a maru on it, okay? The previous letter, because I've got the form with the numbers on it, all right? And then if I needed a little tsu or a blended sound like sha or sho or something like that, then this one is make the previous hiragana small, okay? And that way I could leave it at 49. It's not overwhelming. The students can get that many memes within one playthrough or perhaps two playthroughs, depending. I don't like my sets to be all that long, because the students need to get up and stretch and do other stuff and things. So I try to keep them around 30 questions in each set, but I might, sometimes I'll have a really long one because, hey, we're doing the escape room the entire day. Or I might have something where I've broken it into 2 sections and like, this is part 1 of the escape room and this is part 2 of the escape room. We'll do part 2 tomorrow. Today, I just want you to focus on part 1. Okay. Sometimes the students are going to have to play the thing through twice to get all the answers, especially if they make mistakes. All right. So then I made my secret. This is what each number corresponds to. All right, and I don't want to show too much of this because my students might be watching. All right, so here's the Spanish, there's 33 total, and the French, there's 36 total. And I made my secret sheet, and I'm going to have this forever. I'm never going to change between because it's too much work. All right. Here's an example of what mine looks like. Remember, Quizizz, I love that. Quizizz one had the boxes, everything. But for me, it's because I'm making sentences. I just do it like this. And this one was for Asterix Le Gaulois, and the secret phrase, I always do my escape rooms. Always do my escape rooms. I'm sorry, I see I'm over 11 minutes. I'm going to cut this into several sections so that I make it smaller. My escape rooms are always about, hey guys, we just finished reading a book. Show me you understood the book. So it's a comprehension test, and it's the way I want to do tests. I don't want to have hey, sit down and answer these boring pen and paper questions. I always want to do it in a fun way. I'm very game-based, okay? So after my French 1 students read Asterix Le Gaulois, they knew this phrase. They couldn't figure out what it was until they had done enough, okay? But the phrase was one of the favorite phrases of the thing. I'll just go ahead. Ils sont fous ces romans. And that phrase gets used all the time, no matter what book. Here, as a joke, putting it on its head, Obelix says, Ils sont fous ces Égyptiens. But basically, they're crazy, these Romans, okay? So that was the clue. And as the students were playing the game and they were figuring out what the clue was, they were like, oh, I know what he's saying, because we'd gone over that line so many times as we read the book, whole class. All right, so I'm going to pause my video right here. I'm going to break this into 2 sections, and I'm going to show you a bunch of stuff in a moment on the next section. But please come talk to me about this at the Quizizz Game Changers and AI Certified Teachers Facebook group, or, write a comment here on YouTube. You got ideas of your own? I want to steal your ideas too. All right, so come join me on the next video where I dive into depth about what I actually did for the escape room.